Good evening, and as promised on Twitter, it is time to restart Notes to Strike a Chord. And this is pretty much the show where I actually talk about things in the game. I don't just play the game. And while I had lots and lots to say before, I usually did those in a machinima and put them up on YouTube. And I did 22 of them. And you can find them via my website at www.cavaliercavalry.com, or just find Doug Glyndwyr on the YouTube, just like it's spelled on here. All one word. This new idea for this show series will take a long time. If I do one a week, we're good for quite a while because I like making characters. I have stories to tell. And that's the point of this series right here, is to get into a little bit of the backstory of the characters I create. Now, some of these episodes will not be long. Some of my characters are pretty simple or don't have very detailed backstories. That being said, we're starting off with the big one. One where I've taken my name from. This is Glyndwyr. In this case, it's Glyndwyr Owain, actually named after the Prince of Wales, where my name comes from. But I didn't know about him when I found the name. I found the name inside of my mom's old. They used to call them compact encyclopedias. Now, by today's standards, it's not compact. It's a bug squisher. It's a combination, dictionary of names, dictionary, gazetteer of the world. Was this 2,500 page bound monstrosity that she actually received from her grandmother when she ended up going to, kind of as a bribe, to go to El Camino College with her brother, but she dropped out pretty quickly. And then so did he. Since it was a community college, it didn't exempt him from the draft, and he went to Vietnam. So anyway, she got this big old book, this giant book. And it was like I said, a dictionary of names. And I was putting together a new character. Or believe it or not, originally my main persona was not this. I had one growing up, but I was never one to shy away from. No problem, Demetrius. I was never one to shy away from killing off characters to advance the story, and my friends would not. Both of them got very attached. They were basically author avatars, and believe it or not, when I came up with this character, it wasn't. It was more of an idealized idea of what I wanted to be, maybe. But it certainly wasn't anywhere near who I am. Neither was my first character either. It was probably more idealized of what I thought the perfect military commander would be. I tend not to put myself in these games. Even Alice Lane Garfield it's not. I tend to create idealized ideas of what I have. So for Alice Lane Garfield, he's the noble rogue or whatnot. For me, I'm not necessarily an adventurer. I don't normally find myself. I put pieces of myself into every character, but I don't put all of myself into any character. And I think I've been pretty good at doing that. Probably the closest I've came is the one character that looks least like me, and that would probably be the character of Nikolai Chernenko, who does have the encyclopedic knowledge and kind of a mercurial nature, but he's short and redheaded. So that's definitely it's not me. Anyway, we're gonna get on with this today. Like I said, we're doing the main guy, Glyndwyr Owain, also Doug Glyndwyr. Anything that has the word Glyndwyr in it is pretty much the same character across anything I play. He is the leader of the Cavalier Cavalry. That started off in BattleTech. In BattleTech, the board game, not the video games. Sharon walked hitting my way. In BattleTech, the board game, I had created a character, or a whole regiment. And a lot of these characters are going to be drawn from this regiment. And it started off as a battalion. It started off as a lance. He comes in sometime between the original lance formation and the company level. I did not actually have the character. He's actually, as far as my characters go, especially my mainline characters go, he's pretty new. And in BattleTech, he takes over for the main commander, Benjamin Nicholas Charles VII. Obviously, a long lineage there, minor Illyrian nobility. But after he takes charge of the regiment, he takes the regiment home to his home, which is the planet of Aberystwyth in the Illyrian Alliance / Commonwealth. He's a very silent man. And yeah, he has the ability to convey a lot of information with just his demeanor. And that was partly as a challenge to write it, and partly as an excuse never to have to kill one of my commanders again when my friends could part with the most minor of their minor characters. Between pleading me for allowing them to remain remain alive but in a significantly reduced role due to their injuries, to outright, I'm just going to clone them. I got tired. I vowed never to kill off another character off screen again. Now, if they died in universe, that's one thing. But I would never make it a plot point again. They were very unappreciative of it. Let's be honest. They were unappreciative. So I'm going to go ahead and play through Heroic Elite because I want DDO points and rep. As I talk to how I modified Glyndwyr for Dungeons and Dragons Online. Glyndwyr, unlike a lot of my other characters, was never a character when I did play Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop game. And that being so, I never really had an idea. He was never in any one of the other D&D worlds. He was never part of Greyhawk, and he was never part of Dragonlance. Those are the only two I played in. I never really played anything in Forgotten Realms. I played Baldur's Gate, the video game, but I don't even remember. I couldn't get past the first part, so it just didn't really hold my attention, I guess. So I never really had to. Oh, I can just waste some of these. Great. Oh, let's have fun. So he's never really been a part of Dungeons and Dragons. So when I came into DDO, I was able to place him solely within it, along with the second major character I made strictly for this game, Alistair Garfield. Alistair Garfield's kind of funny because he goes from DDO back to BattleTech, while this character goes from BattleTech to DDO. So part of the backstory I came up with is that he is actually from Sharn. And being part of the Sharn kind of lifestyle. You know, he has to get used to being in the more rough and tumble nature of Zendrick. He adapts very well to it because, in all honesty, his character is one that's always been kind of would always find fault in inflexible structures. That's always been a key point to the character of Glyndwyr. The more rigid a structure is, the less likely he's going to find an ability to get through it. That being said, obviously Zendrick is the perfect place for someone like that because it's basically, well, not necessarily lawless. He's probably more comfortable in Stormreach than he is in the Wilds. But, you know, it's definitely a place where a man makes it through by his wits. He is a cleric, definitely. If I was to base it really off the real Owain Glyndwyr, he probably would have been a sorcerer. But I don't play arcanes very well. I'm getting used to them. I do have a level 21 wizard now. Getting used to that. But when it comes to games, I have always tended to play the support role better. So, while not strictly a heal bot, Glyndwyr was definitely meant to be, you know, to be the healer, strong enough in his offense to take care of himself one-on-one against most enemies, but definitely not one to take on mobs. He's not an attack caster, focusing on healing and buffs. This is something that will come again when we talk about the Bard Alistair Garfield. I've tried to maximize his defensive capabilities, but that didn't go very well for a long time because DDO had a severe problem with heavy armor and heavy armor classes. And it still does. It's very hard without past lives and a whole lot of other sacrifices to get super tanky. You know, my friend's done it. I have a friend who has made numerous super. I've seen him be on EE at level, just sit there and, you know, he's going down like 3 or 4 points a hit to a red name. It's crazy what you can do, but I know he also has multiple lives to help him through that. We do not. I do have one epic past life. I felt that was easier than trying to respec him using a Heart of Wood. That, and I wasn't too sure if the Heart of Wood would actually have done what I had wanted to do. And I had just gotten the gear set up that I could use to bring him up. And he could, of course, in the epic level, it's much easier to tow people. Because, you know, a level 30 and a level 20 quest, it's not a big deal. Somebody just went, yeah. So obviously, whether running with my wife or even just dual boxing with the level 30 character I had on it, Shastina, it was not a big deal for me to epic TR. It was no, I mean, everybody was out there without their favorite heal bot for a good 2 weeks while I did it, but, and that's the funny thing, it wasn't even the first time that had happened. Although this time I at least gave everybody advance notice. So on DDO, he's from Sharn. He's a sovereign host. The sovereign host, but he doesn't like the church. And that's probably my biggest thing too. It's like, religions are fine, churches are bad, kind of a thing I have. You can, the most holy books contain really good stuff, but when people implement it, they tend to be asses about it. So that makes it into his background. He's very much more of a personal belief type guy. And that fits in very well with Eberron, because in Eberron, it's more about just the belief in an ideal rather than actually knowing the gods. And while the issues of the gods are very vague in Eberron, at least the planes exist. And that's primarily where a lot of the power comes from. I was reading Baker's book last night, the second Dreaming Dark, and he has a really, really good passage. I mean,
you want me to lock the door?
You don't have to.
Okay. I got it.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too. He has a very great passage in there about why the Soagan worship the Devourer. And, and it's not just straight, well, we're evil, he's evil. No. He goes into how the Soagan believe that all things come from sacrifice. And if the god, if your god is all about loss, to choose the loss willingly up front saves you pain in the future. And if it appeases the god, maybe maybe the god doesn't come down on you oh so hard. It was a very compelling moment in the book, I thought. I mean, in Eberron, everything's not black and white. Why should the deities or even the religions or the churches be that way? And it was clear it wasn't. Obviously, there's in a lot of books, in a lot of stories, the bad guys see themselves as the bad guy. For instance, Lolth makes no bones about it. She wants to dominate the world, and she knows that everybody else is against her, and she's got to see it, and she sees herself. She doesn't even see herself as a savior, and she's really, really, really upfront about that, and it's hard to believe that she doesn't know that she's not evil. But then, we have this in the game. We have your first meeting of the Soagan is that they're trying to kill off the people of Korthos Island. But in the book, the Soagan come off as not evil, but they're certainly not going to get along with you. And obviously, if you're on the other side of them, you're going to see them as evil. But you yourself, or they are not going to. Lolth probably sees herself, well, I'm the queen of evil, and I'm going to make no bones about it. I am queen high bitch. And there's something to be said for that, I guess. I mean, it certainly helps for gameplay mechanics. But in Eberron, I could see how it would be all like, okay, well, what, you might have an alignment, but that doesn't really matter. What would matter is that a lawful or chaotic alignment on your weapon then should actually reflect the difference in the tabletop game between you and your opponent. If you're on opposite sides, then you would probably pick a no matter what, it would matter what it was infused by. If it was infused by your god, then you would think of it as good, even if you are classified as an evil race. And to keep it simple, I suppose that they would just simply, just put it in whatever. It's like, well, you're an evil race, you take evil weapons, but, you just, the backstory. So once again, to get around to that point, Glyndwyr fits very well in this world, this universe, but inside the part of Zendrick too, because unlike most clerics, most people are going to be part of the sovereign host. He's going to have a flexibility that they're going to lack. It's going to come down whether it's a difference of an opinion. He's a follower of the sovereign host, and he runs into the Sawagans. Follow the Devourer, and it's all like, it's like, hey, we're not at war with you. All right, well, we can deal with that. Or, are they part of the faction that's into straight domination and opposition, in which case he's going to have a lot more to say about that. Usually with weapon spells and bringing in his friends to help put people down. So he's not even really a minor noble, he's just a cleric, a fighting priest. As I've gone on and read more about that, I can see him have fought in the last war. Where he probably came through pretty well. The character of Glyndwyr always has that pragmatic side to him that he can. His mental prowess is enough that when confronted with atrocities, he can set them aside. He doesn't forget, but he has enough strength within him to be able to contextualize them in a way where he can see them as losses for a greater good or whatnot, or as unalterable events or whatnot. Anything that he knows he can change, he's very capable of separating that from what he cannot. So, being on the front lines in the Great War, or the Last War, I'm sorry, it would harden him. It would accentuate the parts that are more hardened. He would become quieter. He would certainly become more grim. But he probably would not lose his doubting nature, the ability to compromise, the willingness to change his ideals, especially since the last war ended the way it did. I mean, with the big mystery of why the morning hit and whatnot. The other thing that would stand him out amongst a lot of people in Eberron is that the Warforged certainly would not faze him. Especially treating them as equals or whatnot. It would not be in his nature to see the Warforged as anything as but what they are, because he would value, by necessity, reasoning and the Warforged that he interacts with actions over any kind of dogma. Tenets are one thing, but obviously if you're good and committing evil acts in the name of supposedly good tenets, then you're not good. He would reason through that. So having a palling around with a warforge would not be on any kind of bad list for him. Now, that's not to say he gets along with everybody. Certainly, the more chaotic in him, I'd have to say the good part's more flexible, but the lawful part is probably more restricted. And it's not chaos because you're against all rules. He finds exasperation with chaos for chaos's sake. Being weird is one thing, but being disruptive just because you don't like the rules, being disruptive and not trying to change them, just being disruptive, would frustrate him to no end. Exasperate him. He deals with characters such as Alice Thane, Garfield, out of respect for their talents, not out of any personal desire to be around a borderline alcoholic, probably not borderline, who literally does whatever he wants because why the hell not? He sees people like that as not having any. It's all like, well, absolute freedom doesn't matter if it makes it evil for those who would dominate you to pick you off one by one. There has to be some tenet, but it also needs to be flexible enough to not suppress anybody either. And even then, the people that go, well, any tenant is suppression, he at least can deal with. It's the people that are all like, I just don't want to worry about anything, that tend to get his goat. He's always exasperated at someone like Alice Thane Garfield. Less so at, say, someone like my more chaotic ranger, Shorewant Periant. Is very much a kind of a free spirit, and you can see, in all honesty, her, she follows like the whole principles of, as long as it doesn't harm anyone else, it's a-okay, and we don't need rules to not know that. Her philosophy is basically, don't be a dick to each other. And sometimes when rules are enforced on her, she kind of feels that's kind of being a little bit dickish. What you gonna do, though, So that's where he fits in with his sovereign house. Probably why he didn't become part of his silver frame, because they would be way too strict for him. I mean, the sovereign host is all like, we venerate the 6 good gods, and he's all like, well, I like the 6 good gods, the 6 good gods. So I'd rather work for them, and not the bad ones. But it also kind of recognizes the fact that those 6 somewhat evil gods are there for a reason, even if it's just opposition in the minds of some of the church members, obviously. But even he senses a need, if not a sense of balance, is the fact that, Everyone needs to be vigilant on their own behalf. And that's probably why he gets along with someone more like Chorwant than Alice Thing. There are always really different levels of frustration. Obviously, being the pieces that are based on me, he has a great sense of vision and direction. Has a very deductive mind, very problem solving. I appreciate the personality of, say, someone like Oriara, her inability to find direction is far more problematic than anything else. Well, that's more of a sigh, not again thing rather than, why is she here? It's not that far. It would never be that far. Everybody has different skill sets. It's just that when you're working with somebody that's so deficient in a certain skill set, that part can be frustrating. It only gets upsetting when you're working with somebody who's deficient in all the skill sets, in every skill set. Having worked with real people like that, I guarantee you the struggle is real. For instance, in college, I worked with, I had the infamous group project, right, in microeconomics. And I was teamed up with a Russian swimmer who did not speak very good English, was on a sports scholarship, and obviously, well, being a minor college, let's just say that academic standards were not rigidly enforced. And then I was working with a trust fund kid who did not want to be at college, and it's obvious that his dad would. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think his dad was like buying grades outright, but at least maybe buying some work too. I got along well with the Russian swimmer because at least he tried. We met, we discussed it. I used my limited knowledge of Russian to get a couple of points across that I did not know that I would be able to, but I tried as well. And in all honesty, I had to do probably about a quarter of his part of the project. Trust fund kid never made any meeting, never made any attempt, never made anything at all. And when we did our presentation, we got up, and when asked what everybody did, I backed up the Russian jock and told the teacher that trust fund skater boy did nothing. Because, between me and the Russian, we had to do, well, the Russian tried to do a little bit of his work, but, I had to do most of it. And I was rather insistent that he got no credit at all. As the old saying goes, tough shit. So at least, it was a question between at least an honest attempt and whatnot. And the teacher agreed. I got an A, I think Belly got a B minus. He didn't do as well. And then we don't know what the trust fund kid got because 3 days after our presentation, he was gone. So that part is part of Glyndwyr too. It's a question between honest effort and and gross incompetence. Obviously, gross incompetence doesn't have any place in his worldview. And say what you will, Alice Thane Garfield is not incompetent. He is a very, very, very good bard. That's a good place to take a brief break. I'm going to open up a giveaway, as it says on the bottom. This will be for an item from Ziggy Stardust, who is now holding my giveaway gear, an item off of Ziggy's gear list, and 10,000 points. Or 10,000, not 10,000 points, 10,000 coins, 10,000 plat, not points. God, if I had 10,000 to give away, I love that. Okay, exclamation DDO point or exclamation DDO to enter the raffle, and in that list is some heroic elite stuff, Dream Visor, Shamanic Fetish. Also, there's collapsed portable holes I'm giving away. I've actually got more than 20, so I'm giving some away. So let me see where the cover go away. Now, if I get 40 followers or 10 subs or any combination of 4 to 1, I will throw in a EE Ring of Shadows. I do have one to give away. That's kind of a big thing, a big deal still. Ring of Shadows still usually goes for about 125 shards when you can find. It's still one of the few mid epic items that are kind of worth their weight, you know. Now, here in this quest that I do not like, we'll kind of talk about his build now. We've kind of covered the backstory. He's Sharn, Sovereign Host, doesn't like incompetent people, kind of quiet. His build is based on the idea that I have to be good enough at combat to survive long enough. You know, every now and then somebody's going to aggro on me. This game says, oh, well, the aggro is blah. And there's always going to be undead. And undead really is where a cleric should shine, literally. So I'm probably a little bit better at fighting undead than I am at anything else. That's what this is for. Positive energy burst. While we're waiting for Victor, obviously I have put almost all of my things into wisdom, but I've also put a lot into constitution. I put 13 into strength on base, just because I needed Bastard Sword. At the time, in 2009, most battle clerics, when they weren't being kicked out of parties, were wielding Kopeshes for the crit range. So I couldn't find a decent Kopesh for love or money. And after a couple of weeks, I just stopped trying. Literally, I decided, well, so much for crit range. I am going to go ahead and invest in just pure damage, you know, because Kopeshes were the best crit range for for a D8 weapon. I decided to go straight D10. I mean, I could have gotten Dwarven War Axe, but I wasn't a dwarf. And Dwarven War Axes did not share the fantastic drop rates. Bastard swords did not drop as much as they do now then, but they dropped at a far greater rate than, say, both Kopesh's and Dwarven War Axes, which I thought was kind of funny. Just found it weird. I mean, they were all exotic weapons. Why was one dropping so much more than the other one? And I still don't understand that even today. But they've kind of fixed the part where, you know, if you've taken defeat, then they drop more in the end chain rewards. So they're a little bit better at looking at that. I am a cleric. I wear heavy armor. I didn't take a whole lot of the extra things for it. What is that? Blue. I thought it was white. There it goes. Doesn't matter. I don't know if there's actually a place where you can find that. I guess I should look around. Now, one of the big things I had to do, one of the reasons why I did Epic TRM one time is because I thought they were going to have a system where Eberron characters could, or not that non-iconics would be able to choose whether or not they'd be Forgotten Realms or Eberron. And I wanted to take Helm, which would have required me to rewrite the backstory, because Helm is a Forgotten Realms one. But Helm also has Bastard Sword as its deity's favorite weapon. Anyway, totally wrong about that, but I had already TR'd him. But that was also around the same time that the single weapon fighting chain came out, so I invested. I think I'm greater single weapon fighting. No, improved, not greater. I think I only have 2 ranks in it. I don't have all 3. I don't think. Otherwise, you got all the normal cleric stuff. Lots of heals, lots of Diplo. We'll take a look. I don't know how much UMD I put into it. I only got Iron Defenders. I noticed that the first and last procs still don't work. Supposed to be 6 procs. I counted 4. Oh, let's see. 7 ranks of balance for that. No, obviously concentration, Diplo. I know concentration's not used anymore, but I hate not having it. As a cleric, heal obviously maxed out. Spellcraft I started taking. I didn't put any ranks into it. Cause cleric fire spells, yeah, I didn't have a high int. I still don't think I have a high base int. Yeah, I only have +3 tome. I need a +1 more to get in there a skill point. Well, if I ever get lucky and get a level 8 or get a 8 int tome. Then maybe I'll do something about it. Until then, what skills does a cleric really need? Get the heal, you get the death blow. Kind of focused on defense first there for the heavy con. No, I did take them all. Took blinding speed. I almost always take blinding speed. It's just the best if you do any kind of that. Any kind of melee at all. Perfect single weapon fighting an elusive target. Took splitter blades for some reason. Power of life over death once. I took the Domain of War to save the feat so I could get use Bastard Swords. That's probably what I said. If I switched out Bastard Sword for just greater single weapon fighting, huh? Obviously, I took maximize. I even took heighten. I don't know why. I never use heighten. I do not have a I'm not a single member of my guild plays a Warforged other than me. So probably why it's turned off. But I really don't need it. I primarily took Radiant Spirit in the enhancements. See my enhancements. Oh yeah, when that came out, I think I did redo them. So let's go the full thing. Okay, lots of 22 points into War Priest, nothing into Human other than the first one. All into Radiant Servant, 43, because I wanted the capstone too. Well, I do not have any Warforged players. I do have some players that have a lot of hit points and are very reckless, so I kind of needed the crits. And then I think I took, yeah, Wisdom to hit. Which gave me a little bit more. I mean, obviously, you know, strength wasn't my big key. It's 7 points of damage before criticals. I suppose if I crit more, it'd mean more. So yeah, I focus on the glowing bits because they keep the party alive longer, and they, you know, they do all the damage for me. It really is kind of hard to build a spellcrafting cleric. Too many of these spells rely on both DCs and spell pen, like destruction or implosion, and they kind of scatter about the spell domains. Whereas, you know, healing is healing is healing. You know, I might have gone for some more negative healing amp and try to do harm and whatnot, but even then, that still requires sometimes a spell pen check, especially on those thrice damned drow. So while maybe Glyndwyr can, you know, deal with Eberron drow, you know, Forgotten Realms drow would definitely just cheese them off. Not only are they evil for evil's sake and whatnot, and totally implacable, but they also have spell resistance. Totally a bad thing. At least for someone, you know, from his point of view. That's so fun. Now, you can't do it on a lot of things, but like I said, I don't fear shadows. I don't fear forge wraiths. I just hit the radiant burst and they blow them up. Too much fun. Wanted that with a red augment. That would have been so cool. Really yawning. I'm not necessarily tired, but you know, I'm kind of sitting a little funny, and it's kind of affecting the way I breathe. Usually the dash the chanter's up there. So for as far as gear goes, he just uses the same general gear set that I use on every character. So I'll go over it once, but I'm really not going to go over it every time because you can just assume every level 30 character. I'll point out any differences that, you know, maybe, especially gloves, they're the most flexible. But I use a general gear setup of the symphonic lenses for charisma and mobility. Then I use the legendary hardened hide because I literally had nothing else to put here, and this like added to a lot of stuff. Insightful fortification, quality magic sheltering, natural armor bonus. That's kind of not useful, but quality constitution. Then the legendary rose quartz sigil stone, death ward mask for my characters who don't have it. So also I slotted the Draconic Soul Gem. But the big thing was Intelligence 19 and Quality Physical Sheltering, right? Yeah. It kind of goes with that. See, I don't really get the Quality Constitution. I get that off of there. It's one of the reasons why I'm kind of giving up doing this for the second account, getting the Slave Lord stuff. This is the only thing I really need because it's Insightful Con and True Seeing. So that's what? Where's the Constitution item? I can't remember which one it is. No, there it is. 19 plus 12. That's pretty good. Legendary Mantle of Fury for Constitution, Double Strike, Dodge. Legendary Braided Cut Chord. That gives me quality dodge. Blurry, which is important, goes with the ghostly. And the dexterity skills. Ring of Power for quality strength and melee alacrity and insightful piercing. The best item in the game. Yo. Hey, Fargonaut. Charge Gauntlets. Level 5, you get 60 points of damage. Legendary Soft Soul Slippers for Ghostly and... Oh, really? I get Ghostly there? So that's lesser displacement. So really, I kind of okay. I just need True Seeing, and I probably could just keep using her Cyberus thing. So maybe I'll go ahead and do the equipment on that. Really, the only thing I need is Ring of Power, really, for the melee alacrity. Anyway, Legendary Soft Soul Slippers for Insightful Charisma and Ghostly, and really that's it. I really don't need these. I wonder why. Did I pick the wrong boots? Curiouser. My wisdom item is a legendary chieftain. It's a little low on it. It's not a 19 item. It's an 18 item with the quality wisdom. But it's just was the only one on the ring and easier to get. Although if they ever come up with wisdom boots, I'm going to have to think about those, aren't I? Next up is the strength item and insightful. Well, we've got double up on our insightful constitution, but what can I do? I need a strength item. This has stunning and quality physical sheltering, as opposed to the insightful we've already got. And then everybody wears a form of either the Sharn armor or the armor from Barovia. I'm wearing the Watch Captain's Plate mail. Weapons kind of hard to come by. Most of the top level bastard swords are gated behind raids. The bastages. I got a Barovian. I've got a Thunderforge. It's not complete. I also got the complete one. So like I said, almost everybody wears the same gear. Really only the hands change. It covers all the bases. Everybody get it. I get at least the plus 19 to everything except for wisdom, which is plus 18, and get at least one of insightful, quality, or exceptional. Exceptional, I think I just threw on a. I think I've got a Draconic Soul Gem on it somewhere. Oh, good. I could do it. So that. Ooh, I'm gonna check that right away. Okay. Cool. So you've got one entry in the draw. Argonaut has entered. He said, I don't mind anybody else entering. I've got plenty of plat to give away on Kyber. Plenty of items. Now, like a lot of my support characters, they now do just fine on epics. I could probably run all the way up to, the Stormhorns and be fine. But legendary, when they added all those things into legendary, like Death Wards and Mortal Fear only doing half damage, my support characters really need friends. Alcine gets away with it because he really has great crowd control. I mean, it just takes a long time, but I can kill everything with Alcine. Because nothing fights back. It's a lot easier when nothing fights back. If everything's your friend, who cares how long it takes to get through the bad guys, right? That being said, I have held my own in raids and EE content or legendary elite content. I'm a very good healer. I have lots of uses of this, so I can. Oops. So I'm not just like restricted to just being the healer. I'm not going to do any damage, but at least through most content, nobody's going to have to like be guarding Glyn while trying to complete the quest. Oh, surprise assault. It's front. And like I said, I am very, very geared toward healing. I have all the healing stuff. Oh, I thought that was. Never mind. Okay, so there was more D doors open. My only problem I have usually when I'm with my own group is since I'm leading it. It's a very, very, very bad idea to have your scout be your cleric. Especially when leveling up, all too often it was all like, well, if you want to be able for me to heal you in the future, you have to take me back to the last res shrine because nobody decided to take ranks and spot, and I had to find, and no one knows how to do all the quests, and no one knows how to read a map or can bring their tablet up and look at where we need to go. And so I found the trap the hard way and turned into a soulstone. Especially when we were coming up, because now heavy armor mitigates some trap damage, but when we started out, no siree Bob. Trap damage was the cleric's least best friend. That was 389 off of not but a, what do you call it? Not a smite foe, is it? Smite foe, never mind. It is smite foe. Now, that might not heal your super duper barbarian guy, but it's going to be pretty good. Probably about half healing on any rogue you can think of. $451. That ain't half bad. Off nothing but smite foe. So yeah, healing amp I got. That's why I took the plate mail here, because it's got healing amp plus 85. This is legendary, yeah. Watch captains. After this, we'll cover the last thing. And in all honesty, in most video games, it's the most important. We'll discuss why he looks the way he does. A little hard to do, though, in the middle of a quest. Kneel to the desk! No. Probably my only problem with this quest is that the whole mechanic where if you kill the red name, it advances the quest. So it's really, you're gonna have to save the main bad guy and kill him last in the mid fight quest, the mid quest fight, to make sure you can use the disappearing rush shrine. And of course, usually the red diamond's name is the most dangerous, and you don't want that. I didn't see I'd actually been hit by that Medusa poison, and it will insta-kill you. And poison sometimes doesn't remove when you leave quests. I'd hate to be on the Cleft Talk docks here and just like, that would be horrible. God, none of this stuff is worth anything. Most stuff isn't worth anything, but it is what it is. So really now all we have to do is talk about the look. The look, that's one of the things that always like affects a character. And in this case, in all honesty, Glyndwyr is the reason why I do every Saturday night the DDO Bard Life fashion show, because of what he's wearing. The armor overlay that he's wearing right now. This armor, I have literally had it sitting in my bank since 2011. Next year, this armor will literally be a decade old. Back in the day, the best thing you could get, the best thing you want mithril, because you could do heavy armor things, but only be medium armor. And so if you got your other stats really high, you could kind of break through the dodge cap and the armor check penalty, like +5. But I got +14. I'm only using 5 of it. But back in the day, that was worse. Do I have any back in the day? I have my Jinx's Vexation. See, even this, they must have changed that, because our max death bonus is 5. I have the feats. That's what it is. I have the feats and the things to raise it. But if you don't have them, it can be as low as 1. But if you had mithril, max death bonus, you get 2 more. And when I had it, back in 2011 at level 20, I had just enough dexterity to get all +7. I had a +7 to my skills, and I didn't want it to be wasted. I'm sorry, I moved farther back in the stretch. So I didn't want it to be wasted, because I could actually, because of the difference, I could get 1 more armor class and a lot more dodge bonus if I had mithril armor. So, and here they are. This is my mithril armor I wore literally until, oh my god, it must have been, what did I replace it with? I didn't even replace it. I replaced it with Minotaur's breastplate. Oh, the one with the Dragon Touch. I had Dragon Touch too. I forgot about that. But I didn't even wear that. If you go back, I'll show it to you. I was wearing Dragon Touch medium armor, actually. So my AC was still kind of iffy. No, it is this. And this is what I found. Woohoo, look at that. So until I completed my Dragon Touch plate, this is what I would wear. It was the best one I could find, and it's a darn good look. It's a very good kind of a leathery jerkin base, with a red Star Curious over it. It wasn't my style though. but it was the only +4, and at the time you couldn't get anything higher than +4 for mithril. I don't know why there was never +5. Frustrated us to no end. But with mithril, because the mithril itself added to the pluses, so +4 mithril full plate was as good as you could get. And it's a very attractive armor, but it also wasn't my look. I mean, obviously, if you look at my hair, I'm all about the blue. And then, after I got this, we were just questing one day, and I pulled it. I pulled this one right here. And I didn't want to bind it. And so I had this one, and I would wear this all the time. I do all my fighting because it was bound and attuned to me. I put it in the Stone of Change. I gave it the alchemical armor defense. I mean, I had this for like a good 2 years. And then just before they got rid of mithril and adamantine, I pulled this. And I could not bring myself to put it on anybody else. I had other characters who certainly could have used a +4 Deathwalk mithril full plate. Certainly I did. But I didn't want it to get damaged. I didn't want to get permanently damaged. I did not want it to get ruined, lost, whatnot. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Then they introduced these. The Mirror of Glamoring. And at first it didn't work. Older armor such as mithril and adamantine had a tendency to bug out severely. I mean, just be like totally not work. Just totally not work. I mean, when I first did this, none of the pieces worked at all. None of them. And I was adamant. I was I would buy a Mirror of Glamoring, apply it to this armor, it wouldn't work. I would then immediately and at least one time harass customer service until I got my points back, as it had to look like this. And then I would send in bug reports, and I even talked to a couple of programmers during this time to make sure that they knew what it was. I would send in screenshots of what it should look like, the armor type, screenshots of the armor description, talked about when I got it, it was well pre, Menace of the Underdark. And they got it right. I'll admit the Mirror of Glamoring is one of the few things that this company worked hard to make sure they got right. Because this was the look I always wanted. Kind of the blue steel armor. I like the German neck guard. The little pointy thing in the front is a little bit concerning. Could have done without it, or maybe made it flatter. I mean, it does look a little bit like a head chopper, but it's obviously also there as a sword guard, so. Yeah, well, I think that's a different thing. I mean, rune arms being what they are. If the Mirror Glamoring only doesn't work on rune arms, I'm kind of perfectly happy with that. I don't really think I'm not so much in love with any of the rune arms as far as a particular style goes. Maybe a color that they do. And I'd like to see them do that. Maybe have a separate thing for rune arms where you can at least change the color, because obviously Corruption of Nature is green, and I don't want green, I want blue, but Chill of Winter kind of sucks, so I don't know. I think some of the more brighty, jewelly ones are kind of, for my artificers, they like the bling. But this armor right here, found all the way back in 2011, has been the main point of the fashion show ever since, really. I mean, I'll admit, every now and then I do a special fashion show just to bring this armor out of storage. I don't wear anything else on Glyndwyr. Other characters have changed in their look, but not Glyn. So he has blue hair, and I wanted the circlet. He doesn't wear a full helm. I used to have a pretty messy Underdark looking helmet. It looked like a gold chain coif. If you look up pictures of Scott Steiner's Big Papa Pump in his later WCW years, he's wearing this chainmail coif, and it looked like just like that, only with a gem in the middle, and it was gold and not silver. So this is one of the few armors I think looks, really, really good still out here in the snow with the overglow and whatnot. Even the new one I found on Hosta doesn't look this good. But anyway, that's pretty much the overview of Glyndwyr. I've been talking now for an hour and 20 minutes about, obviously, my first and probably still my most important character in DDO, and in general, obviously, over everything, because I took the name as my own. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this stuff back where it belongs. The other thing is I do have his older gear set just in case I need to really jump on him very quick. All this gear is what I geared up for level, when the Neck 4 came out. Oh, I did. Yeah, I knew. I did mean to do that. Never mind. When Neck 4 came, most of this is my Neck 4 stuff. See, even here, I think I have green. No, I have the green. I took the heavy armor. Oops. It goes over here. I did not want to do that. I guess I should sell. Get rid of all this junkola. Where's the nearest vendor? Inside this door over here. Oh, that's that disappointing rapier. Originally, he was also going to be my crafter, which is the funny thing, but because, he's my main. He's an okay crafter. Not great, but okay. Holds all my augments. Not all my augments. He holds all my blue and red ones. Oh, these are not supposed to be in here anymore. So, all right, that pretty much finishes off the Notes to Strike a Chord portion of this. I've got nowhere to go, so I'm going to stream a little bit more. Does anybody have any questions about the character of Glyndwyr? Please feel free to ask. If not, I'm going to log on to another character. When I log off, I will probably definitely be ending the giveaway. So if you want to get into the giveaway, enter right now! DDO. Otherwise, Fargonaut's going to just get it, and I don't mind. Ah, cleric. I am a cleric. "100% pure cleric." Oh, there was something I forgot about. Oh, yes, I did forget about. Okay, the other story. I did tell about the story about the epic TR and we had to wait. But the first time I did it, and it made my wife angry because we were just starting out, and I had gotten Glyndwyr to level 7. And the build was so broken, and we didn't have money for DDO points, so I had to delete them. And so my wife is at level 7 waiting. I stopped right in the middle of Tangleroot Gorge. And she's sitting there waiting. We're on, Spawn of Whisperdune. And she's waiting for, literally a week while I spend every waking moment trying to get back up to level 7. And she's just mad because she can't play Oriara. And it's her only tune. To this day, it's still her only tune. And she's just all like, "I'm waiting." I felt so bad for ages after that. All my other tunes, I pretty much had to bring up on my own. She played a little bit on a character called Wind Dancer. She got that up to level 22, but yeah, so yeah, I forgot about that. No, she hasn't even done an epic TR. She's concentrating on becoming, as she puts it, a first life badass. And she's largely succeeded. I have seen her go into EE rates at level and stay right up there with triple completionists. Her monk build is remarkable, phenomenal, and part of it is just the way she plays it. She might not have a memory for the way the quests are laid out, but her muscle memory as far as controlling her tune is insane. She never misses a key strike. We'll be right in the middle, and I think I'm going to need to heal, and she'll hit a triple positive and save me a ton of spell points or a positive energy burst. Her Earth Stance tank, she can switch between Earth Stance tankiness and Air Stance dodginess, depending on whether she's shot or tanking. If we're running through a quest and it's needs a lot of evasion, she's right there for that. And then if not, didn't they add somebody? Yes, they did. I only have one combat-focused character in all of my tunes that can even keep up with Oriara, and that's probably Red Array. And then Red Array is not nearly as combat flexible. I would not let Red Array tank, for instance. He's got fortification up the wazoo, but I can't get the sheltering or whatnot. We'll go to the airship. Well, actually, I should just... He's got it. I should just go to a mailbox. All right, Ziggy has the stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and close the raffle. You've got until I get to the mailbox, basically. Where's the button? There's the button. Close giveaway, pick winner. It's Fargonaut. All right, Farg. You can have one of these fine items. We have the level 22 grave wrappings. Oh, Divarth. I have a Great Bro of the Scrag. It's only a level 4, but lots of people like it for the blunted ammunition for rangers going into the catacombs. That might be important nowadays. I have an Epic Elite Ironwood Kopesh, Cosmic Greaterstone Prison, Mythic Weapon Boost +4. I have the Dream Visor on Heroic Elite. I have Intricate Field Optics on Heroic Elite. I have the Mountain's Fist on Heroic Elite, a Shamanic Fetish on Heroic Elite, a Jeweled Cloak on Heroic Elite, the Tenebros Stiletto for those of you who need Ghost Touch at lower levels, Gwylin's Blade, perfect for any bard at low levels, a Threnelian Warblade, which is kind of like a Luck Blade, only missing a slot. The Shield of the Scorpion, which admittedly is not very good. Mirage, which is another good, decent Ghost Touch weapon, and the Deception's pretty nice. Or you may have a Collapsed Portable Hole. Yep, I figured those would be popular. Portable Hole saves you 6 Astral Shards and gets you get Cold and Coinlord Favor. The Bank Bag, I have plenty. I actually pulled all 4 of these in one day last week. It was crazy, crazy day. I'm gonna double check something really quick. I want to make sure I get the right name. I don't even know if he's on there. He is Divarth. I got it. Divarth. All right. There you go. Thanks for entering. Enjoy your portable hole. From Ziggy Star to you. Ziggy Star will be doing all the giveaways now. So if there's a problem with the mail, contact me through Ziggy Star. Ziggy Star will be in an upcoming Notes to Strike a Chord. We are probably about 3 weeks away. Yeah. Probably about that. All right, now I'm going to have more fun. Oh, I'm going to turn that off now. No problem, no problem. I know some people, especially if you don't have access to... some quests just drop portable holes more than others do. I find that Giant Hold walk-ups tend to drop them. I got 2 of those from Ravenloft, crazy as well. So if you don't have access to Ravenloft, how are you going to get the lucky draws? You know, what are you going to do? All right, I have loaded up Majora's Ursa, who is my bear. The bear. I actually have no weapon for him. Why don't I have a weapon for him? What, that other people have to buy the pass for you? It would be nice if you could just spend some DDO points and get a temporary pass. It would be nice. Even if they made it a slight increase over the guest passes. Yeah, a slight increase. I'm like talking like 20%, not like double. That'd be stupid. Huh, I wanted to play him, but I have no weapon. Why don't I have a weapon? I don't need a fancy weapon. Yeah, that'll work. No, that'll be just fine. He's got his book. Good, okay. I need it for the proc abilities. I really only need the one. We're going to eat our stones. Wow, okay, so I'm glad I did because I found out I also need to spend action points because apparently they reset something since I last played Majora's Ursa. Which doesn't surprise me. I've been using him as a bank tune. Why? I'm trying to figure out this out. Why did I do this? Well, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it all. So I'm taking wisdom, so obviously I'm going to want falconry. Take that, obviously. I think I'll need that in the long run. Take wisdom. Take wisdom to hit. Oh. No. Wait, what was that other one? I just totally blew it. What's the other one? What's the tree one? That's not bad. Well, I guess I would need to use it to get it, right? Seems kind of pointless. It's really easy to get natural armor on items. Weird. Weird. Baiting bite. I think I have that. Yeah, but what about bear forms? Okay, I've seen this, and this is really great, but I'm a bear form. Where's my bear form stuff? There's wolf form over here, or bear form over here. Did I miss that? Wait, all this is for wolf and nothing for bear? They only had so much to work with. I really don't get this. I can't even look at it. All right, well, that's fine. I'll save one. What is, what is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could probably do some really great things. Well, you can, yeah, as long as you have a cool DM, you can do whatever you want in pen and paper. Oh my God, they're really close. Okay. All right, well, that's good. So, where am I at? Am I really that? Wow. Wow. I'm at Chanticleer. Or fresh in the air, proof is in the poison. Faith. Have not really run away on him. I'm sorry, Sharn Syndicate. Seven. Then we're going to do Ironstone Inlet. But I probably need a higher because I haven't had a higher in a while. I need a Ironstone Inlet, so I don't care anything from 4 to 7. Well, doing it on the elite. Second life doesn't break bravery bonus. I guess I don't really care. Yeah, sure, why not? Only on second life. I'm not sure how good I'm going to be. I'm not going to talk about the character because the character's going to get his own show eventually. It's all about Glyndwyr today. Funny thing is, John Ford's probably already done Ironstone Inlet. I am remarkably inconsistent. Tried making an arty bard. Now I really wish I had a plus 20 Heart of Wood so I could get rid of it. Kill it with fire. Fire. Nope, I haven't done it. Good. All the things are off on Majora's. Oh, this is John. That's why. Everything's still off here, too. As soon as you let me know who to add, I will add you. That's probably not you. That's only level 6. I see F. That's my most likely guess. Disposable heroes, huh? Windspire Griffin, serviceable ship. Let me get some things in here really quick. Okay, no problem. They're treated as spells, I see. Oh, okay, so that's probably not a good thing. Never mind, don't need it. Is there's shred. Shred harrowing pack is that. Okay, there we go. I had some spells. We're in the Harbor Niles cage doing Irestone Inlet first. I kind of want to do something I kind of know well to get used to being a druid again. Turn off that graphic. Oops. All right. It has been a long time since we'll see if this works. That wasn't. That might have been me. I might have hit it too. Okay, so that's probably not a good place to put that. Let's switch those. There we go. I'm gonna accidentally hit a key. I'd rather it be cold, the cold one. I remember people always going in here and running this for at hard, grinding this out for hard for ion stones. Thank you, guys. Jump chest, at least. Damn, I am just no good. I might have better luck if I switch to my... Switch to my Ranger. Really noticing a big improvement as far as damage goes. Those regenerating hobos are a pain in the butt. Probably actually did need to grab my better weapons. Ugh. Yeah, there are no real easy ramps right there. I wish there was, but yeah, not really helpful. It's like someone is really using a projector. I didn't know where that guy came from. See, I didn't think Scarton was doing that. Obviously, you're supposed to do this in a certain way. I just never have. It's time to run away. Boom! I like how the smoke like covers everything. I almost had to die. Stupid respawning enemies. I was thinking about doing proof is in the poison, but as I stand right now, that's purely out. I'd be embarrassed. Probably do Shanakor. It's just going to be really hard to do. Storm Reaper Fresco because I got no trap. Oh, yeah, you're Artificer. Never mind. Yes, we do. I've got mail. I've also got to read up on how to play a druid. All right. Well, as much as I'd love to play further, I'm going to have to go for a while. I was hoping to play a little bit more with Shafargonaut, but thanks for the run. I will be doing this every week on Thursday from now on. I'll be covering a different character every time. And then after that, I'll be happy to play a little bit more with anybody else in the community. But I do have to call it a night, and I wish everybody out there peace and good questing. Have a great night.